Bring it on in. Daily Ticket with you here on a Wednesday. A lot going on in the sports world in general, all the leagues in action. Specifically here, though, in Philadelphia, a lot to discuss as well as the eyes of the NFL are on us for a big one to kick off NFL Week 11 here at Lincoln Financial Field with the Eagles and the Commanders. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But, folks, it's Wednesday. It's the midweek report where we like to get caught up on some of the leagues that don't really get our attention full throttle throughout the course of the week here on the Daily Ticket. And of course, Larry Henry Jr. joining us right here on the Gambler Stream. Big news out of Larry Henry's camp is he's added another job. Nobody has more jobs than Larry Henry Jr., but this is a pretty big one. Not to say the other ones weren't big. He's done a ton over the years. But he has now joined The Athletic and will be doing some live stuff for them on NFL Sundays and, of course, at night times, and a lot on his plate already. But there will be even more as the seasons wind down and we're slowly inching closer towards playoff action in the football world. And maybe a little soccer as well. A lot to discuss with Larry Henry Jr. Larry, how we doing today, sir?
Doing well, Sean. Thanks for the shout out, man. Really appreciate it. Excited to get going with the Athletic. A great group of people there. They've done an awesome job breaking everything down from the NFL to college to soccer to NBA. I mean, you name it, they're covering it. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. And also excited to touch on those topics with you in the near future. But looking in the Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia Flyers continuing through the regular season right now. Some mixed results in the last week or so. Another big game coming tomorrow night on Thursday against the Ottawa Senators. Get to see an old friend, Claude Giroux, and the Senators on a Thursday game before the weekend comes in. But yeah, man, excited to break it all down with you. And obviously a lot going on right now with the Flyers, NHL, soccer, union, you name it. I mean, we're breaking it down, man.
Well, that's where I'd like to start with you. First of all, as I said, congratulations. Look forward to checking your workout over at the Athletic. Excuse me, spit it out. And we'll continue to get you involved as much as possible here on the Daily Ticket / The Gambler. As always, Larry, you keep us up to date on a little of everything. So, of course, I want to start with the Philadelphia Union. The big news yesterday and or last week, frustrating from a diehard Philadelphia Union supporter with Jim Curtin being let go. And I feel like the fall guy, the wrong guy took the hit here. I realize that this team hasn't been able to get over the hump, but I think we got to look at the mirror a little bit from the ownership standpoint, maybe the general manager / sporting director with Ernst Tanner. I would not have moved on from Jim Curtin, but it was obvious that this was a power move by the ownership and Ernst Tanner, and they combined their thoughts and said, you know what, we're better to go in a different direction. What have we missed in your mind over the last week? And there's been a lot written, a lot discussed. What's caught your attention about some of the details? And if there's anything that people have missed that aren't discussing about Jim Curtin being let go, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing, right? I mean, I've had a good relationship with Jim. I know you have as well, with the Gambler, and also years past. I mean, Jim's a really good coach, really great guy, Philly guy. Just unfortunate that one kind of poor season for the Union in the past 7, 8. 9, and that means his job. He loses his job because of it. It's definitely disappointing. I think he's done a really great job with this organization, bringing them up, making them a consistent threat in MLS, growing the academy. Ernst Tanner, I know, has been involved with that as well, with some really good, sneaky, underrated signings, in the past years, right? Kai Wagner, Mikel Ura, Leon Flock. I mean, kind of that list goes on and on. The academy players have really blossomed over the years and played a big part in this franchise. And obviously, we did hear Ernst Tanner and Jay Sugarman speak this week. I mean, I don't really agree with the fact that you give up on this guy just again because of one bad season. They don't make the playoffs. They really took a step back. No trophies this year. I mean, this guy's brought a supporter shield to the Philadelphia Union, gotten them to two CONCACAF semifinals in the Champions League against some of the best in CONCACAF. Getting to MLS Cup in 2022 and until Gareth Bale broke the hearts. Yeah, it's there's not a lot of words that can really kind of sum it up, right? It's just disappointing. I think it was kind of a frustrating move. I remember reading, I believe it was the ESPN report that came out last weekend that kind of broke down a little more into detail those meetings, and it sounded like from sources in the organization that Jim was made out to be a scapegoat a little bit just for the failures of the organization in terms of the front office. They haven't really put a lot of money into the roster in the last year or so. They sold Julian Carranza to Feyenoord in the Netherlands. They had a lot of injuries this season. Andre Blake, some others as well that had missed, and they really didn't, shore up that roster. And I think you saw that where the depth was really tested. I think all fingers need to be pointed at Ernst Tanner and Jay Sugarman. I don't believe Jim Curtin should have been fired, and now it's going to be another big time move because who do you get to replace him? Right? Do you promote Marlon LeBlanc with Union 2, who got to the MLS Next Pro Cup this past weekend, and unfortunately they suffered a heartbreaking 3-2 loss in Texas. Do you look elsewhere in MLS? Do you look within the academy? Do you look in Europe? I don't know who you're going to get to replace a guy like Jim Curtin, not only for what he is as a coach, but also, like I said, he's a local guy. He loves this city. He loves the teams in this city, and he knows how much the fans really can kind of help this team get results. So again, unfortunate, and we'll see where it goes over the next couple months. I don't think we're going to see a move maybe too soon, just because now they have to shore up the roster, try to see who they can get coming back. But yeah, it's going to be big shoes to fill for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that really frustrates me. A lot frustrates me, but no matter who they bring in, because we know what type of a player they go after, so we can assume that the coaching, like I would be shocked if it's not somebody in house, right? But regardless, even if it isn't somebody, it's probably going to be somebody that we have no idea, and maybe very few of us know. Like you, Tansy, the true sickos when it comes to the world, Adam Booth, the true sickos will know who this coach is, but no one's going to register. So um, my big thought right now about this situation is this fan base has been just kicked and kicked again and kicked some more, losing players, not hanging on to the players that are coming up, spending money, not really going to get that top caliber player. There's some nice players on this team. Nobody's denying that. It's a fun watch. Nobody's denying that. But you remove Jim Curtin to take that next step. And I just don't see how this move, keeping the way status quo is for the Philadelphia Union, not changing the way that they spend and going after players. I just don't see it changing. And then, oh, by the way, the enthusiasm for the upcoming season for the club itself is going to take a gigantic hit because Jim Curtin was loved, man. He was. He was ours. He was our guy. I know that there were some detractors out there. It wasn't universal, understood. But at the end of the day, I think Union fans are smart enough to know what's being spent, realistic expectations, and Jim Curtin was meeting them and then some. He had a bad season last year. There's no doubt about it. It was not a fun year. It was a fun start, but it was not a fun season. And I thought that it would have been, I was really intrigued by what this offseason would have been for them because going into next year, this is the first time in a long time that they've had to sit back and watch playoff action and not be involved. This is the first time in a long time that they were disappointing across the board all season long. So I thought that there would be some reflecting and ultimately a better season was going to be in front of us. But I can't sit there and say I think that's what's going to happen now. Now, I do like LeBlanc. I'm not going to lie about that. I had the opportunity to talk to him. I think his players like him. I think he's done really big things with Union 2. But from what I understand, he's not going to be the guy. And I would assume this is going to be Ernst, one of his connections, a guy that he's probably had on his radar for a little while now. And I don't know if I'm going to know a damn thing about him. Where do you stand on all that?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, right, I think LeBlanc is the easy choice, right? He knows the Union Academy. He knows kind of the progression from the academy to the first team. He knows a lot of these guys, a lot of the young players that are playing important minutes for the first team. We'll probably see some of these guys from Union too that have excelled this season up with the first team next season, like David Vasquez and CJ Olney. We're going to see more of Caven Sullivan. He played a big role in MLS Next Pro. So I think the talent's going to be there. It's just like you said, it's just getting the right guy in. Can he gel with this unit? And also, I think there's going to be a lot of roster moves that, there are going to be some tough decisions that need to be made in terms of the roster, right? Looking at the guys that whose contracts expire in the next month or so. Mikel Ural, his contract expires at the end of the year. The club does hold an option for 2025. Same thing with Jack Elliott. Same thing with Olivier Mbizo. Ali Bedoya's contract expires at the end of the year. Leon Flock. So there's some big time players that the front office is going to have to make some decisions on. Obviously, all those guys I think have played key roles for this team. Bedoya might be the odd man out just because he is 37. He is older now in his career. I mean, it's great to have a vocal leader like that, an experienced guy in the locker room, but maybe he still wants to be playing, and maybe the Union want to rely on those youth players. So it's going to be really interesting to see, Sean, how it breaks down over the next couple weeks. I mean, MLS Cup is in, I think, 3 weeks' time now, and then we're really going to see some teams have already started with their rosters, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Union kind of announce their roster moves before Thanksgiving, and then I would think the coaching hire would be soon to follow.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on everything as far as the Philadelphia Union are concerned. The MLS Cup playoffs are off and running. We had a huge upset with Inter Miami getting knocked out. Your thoughts on what took place in that series against Atlanta United?
Yeah, it was a fun series to watch, man. Two teams that don't like each other, Miami and Atlanta. Atlanta probably more known in the past for their money spending in the past with Miguel Almiron and Diego Almada, Joseph Martinez. Now it's Miami who is spending the money, as we know, with Leo Messi, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Leo Suarez. Yeah, I was definitely pulling for Atlanta, right? I mean, as cool as it is to see Messi and Miami, dominate a little bit in this league, it's awesome to see some of these international stars kind of get maybe put in their place a little bit and beat by a team like Atlanta, who wasn't favored to advance. It was an exciting series. Brad Guzan still playing at a high level in net. For Atlanta United. It's going to be a really intriguing series in the next round against Orlando because that's another rival for them. That kicks off not this weekend but next weekend. Before Thanksgiving. I think the other series in the East is going to be fun, right? Hudson River Derby between NYCFC and the Red Bulls. Those two teams don't like each other. The Red Bulls pulling a major upset, knocking out the reigning champs Columbus Crew. So that'll be a fun series as well. And then, looking out west, you have LAFC, the only one, the one seed that's remaining. You have the LA Galaxy, the only number 2 seed remaining. LAFC is facing off against Seattle, and LA Galaxy taking on Minnesota United. So I'm really excited to watch these games. The playoffs have been really fun to watch, and I would love to see a couple more shocks along the way. Hopefully, a few more upsets, maybe LAFC and the Galaxy getting bounced out in the conference semifinals.
I'm talking to Larry Henry Jr., all things soccer. I was going to say EPL, but we got the week off. We will mix in a little bit there from the table standpoint, and then we're going to get on over to the Flyers in just a second. But sticking with the MLS, very intriguing outcomes over the weekend, including Inter Miami, as we just brought up. Now DraftKings Sportsbook, LAFC is your favorite, 2-1 to win it all. Galaxy 3-1, Orlando City 5-1, Red Bulls 8-1, NYCFC 8-1, Sounders 9-1. Minnesota United and Atlanta United, a little bit out there, 14 and 25-1. The MLS Cup, the final, is that the highest seed? I forget how that plays out. So would that be the highest seed that's left over?
Yes, correct. The only team that cannot host the final would be Atlanta United,
Atlanta.
and I believe also the Red Bulls as well, because they are a 7 seed, so
Correct.
they cannot
Yeah.
host. So those are the only two teams that cannot host. So looks like the road could either go to LA, Orlando, Seattle, or NYCFC or Minnesota. So those could
Yeah,
be the host teams.
which definitely benefits the west side of things, and that's why you see them predominantly at the top there. Orlando City 5-1 though, and the Red Bulls there at 8-1, but both LA teams, LAFC 2-1, and the Galaxy 3-1. All right, from the MLS, let's get on over to the EPL. Week off for the teams over there, but I feel like the table is wide open. Your squad, City, coughed up 2 straight here. You got Chelsea with 2 draws. Liverpool has looked good. They're on top of the table with 28 total points, but then it's pretty much wide open. And you know what was really eye-catching, which is just fool's gold in the making. But when you pull up the EPL standings or the EPL odds here on DraftKings Sportsbook and check out what the futures are, Manchester United, Manchester United is listed in there, which is just hysterical. But look, it just tells you how pretty close it is. Although, look, it's a three horse race at this point in time. It's probably going to be that way between Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. A few matches into the season, right? Look, we've played right now at 12 matches played, 11 matches played. Your thoughts of so far with the 3 teams there at the top?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, right, Liverpool, I think a lot of eyes were on them in the summer with the Jurgen Klopp's departure, and then Arne Slot's appointment as manager. I think he's done a really exceptional job with this team. This team is just really well drilled when you look at the amount of the depth they have at every position. Mo Salah's been unreal right now. He's got double-digit goals and assists in all competitions already, and it's only the early November. So he could be in the mix for player of the year, a player of the season when it's all said and done. Manchester City's been yeah, like you said, dude, they've been kind of some hiccups lately. They lost 4 in a row in all competitions for the first time since 2006. So yeah, it's been kind of struggling right now, right? Losing a guy like Rodri in midfield, who won the Ballon d'Or award as the best player in the world. So replacing him after he suffered the torn ACL, it was a brutal injury. He does so much for the team. Erling Haaland kind of had a little bit of a dry spell. He did score last weekend against Brighton, but Man City looking a little bit clumsy defensively lately, right? A lot of mistakes, a lot of they don't look confident in possession, and that's something that usually has gone well for them. They can pass the ball 500-600 times a game and break you down and still score 3-4 goals like it's nothing. They got to get it going. Fast, because they've lost games in 3 different competitions. They've already been knocked out of the League Cup. They suffered a 4-1 loss in the Champions League in Portugal last week. So some big matches for them. It doesn't get any easier because right after the international break, they host Tottenham, who knocked them out of the League Cup. And then looking at the other teams, like you said, Chelsea's sitting third right now on goal difference. I think they've done a really good job of staying consistent. Arsenal's in the 4th spot right now. I think they still have a lot they can build on, but the squad is definitely dangerous with Bukayo Saka and some others. Nottingham Forest in 5th has been a big surprise with 19 points. Could be a team that maybe lingers around. We'll see how that happens after the busy international period. And then, closing out with Manchester United, I think the appointment of Ruben Amorim was a good one. We talked about him, I believe it was 2 weeks ago or last week. We mentioned him about him being linked. I think it's a really exciting signing for the club. He's in Manchester now. He's met with the players, and now I think it's about keeping that confidence rolling. Right? They picked up a win last weekend. They picked up a couple of results in all competitions, and I think the appointment of the new manager is really going to help them because I know people are a little worried because they're in the bottom half, but they're only, I think, 4 or 5 points out of the top 5. So you get a couple wins on the spin, and you're back up into it. So exciting things to come in the Premier League, and festive fixtures coming up right around the corner. A lot of games, a lot of eggnog, a lot of drinks. It's gonna be a fun time, man.
Well, Bruno Fernandez was in the news. Apparently, he came to aid of a man who I guess, collapsed on a flight. So, good news coming out of Manchester United's camp, of course, with the new hire and ending on the right foot and having some sort of belief. But we'll see what happens, what's in the future for Manchester United. I don't think anything all that bright, if I'm honest with you. But long way to go for this season, a lot to play for. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get on over to the NHL. Let's talk about the Fly Guys. Just got some tickets for the 25th when they take on Vegas at the Wells Fargo Center. It's on a Monday night. I'll be down there for that. Big win on Monday night. Shootout. What was, if you could go ahead and bring me in and try and give us the cliff notes here, what was the reason behind Mitchkoff's benching? Was it to get his attention? Is this the right move? Was it the right move? I know he's back in the lineup on Monday. What were you saying then? What are you saying now? Anything new?
No, I mean nothing new. We all know John Tortorella, right? He's going to give some healthy scratches every now and then, whether it's to get a rise out of a player, whether it's to kind of give them a break, maybe a mental break. I think it was more so. I mean, this is a young player, right? 18 years old, 19 years old. You got to give this guy a break every now and then, and I think he's probably a lot of games early in the season. You want to get him a little bit of a rest. I don't think it was anything negative to his abilities or anything like that. I mean, we saw what he did Monday night, goal and assist in the shootout win over San Jose. So I think those things are going to happen. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was negative in any way. And Mitchkov, I think has to respect that as well. He's a young player coming into this league. Has to respect what the coach decides. And I think again, with him being as young as he is, and a lot of pressure already on him, I think it's good from John Tortorella to give him a break every now and then, and just the Flyers I think can win some games without Mitchkov. So if you're able to rest him every now and then, and he still comes back, and you rest him, the next game he comes back, scores a goal, maybe that rest pays off. So he's still been electrifying to watch, and like you said, some big results over the last week. They get a shootout win against Tampa Bay. Saturday night they lost in the shootout to Florida, the reigning champs, but that was a good game, man. It was down to the wire. Sam Urson made a lot of big saves. Actually, both goalies made big. Sergei Bobrovsky made some big saves for Florida as well. And then they get the shootout win against San Jose. So 2 days off. Now back at it tomorrow at Ottawa before the weekend comes, and they host the Buffalo Sabres on Saturday. So excited to continue watching them throughout the fall here, and hopefully climb up the Metro division, because, like we said before, that division's pretty stacked.
A lot of hockey to be played. We're only 16 games played for the Philadelphia Flyers out of 82. So, look, no better time than right now to turn it around and keep things going in the right direction off of that big win on Monday night. They are right now, as we sit, 6-8-2. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, if that math adds up right. So, look, things have turned around, not significantly, but they are moving in the right direction. So. Like I said, though, the big story here is a lot of hockey to be played. All right, one team we are clearly not paying attention enough to, and I haven't really heard anything, haven't seen a highlight, the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets, Larry Henry Jr., 15-1 on the season, 30 points already on the board. What should we know about the Winnipeg Jets?
They are really fun to watch on. I mean, if you would have told me that they would be leading the league with 30 points, 15-1, I would told you that you were crazy. This team is just really good. 8-1 at home, 7-0 on the road. They've won 7 in a row, plus 39 goal differential, which is 16 more than the second best team, which is Carolina, in that stat. They've had really good goaltending so far. Connor Hellebuck's done an amazing job, 192 goals against. This team's definitely scored a lot of goals. As I previously touched on, Kyle Connors got 11. Mark Sheffley, veteran in this league, has continued to play a key role for them. I mean, Winnipeg is just really fun to watch. We've seen this a little bit in the past from them. They've been able to kind of come out early in the season and put together some wins, and then when it comes time, for the playoffs, they fade off a little bit. But it's a really great kind of start from them to lead the league, and I expect that to continue. I mean, 73 goals scored right now from them, and definitely showing no mercy in the Western Conference, proven to be the best team in Canada right now. Better than Toronto, better than McDavid and the Oilers, Winnipeg Jets, a team to watch over the next month or so.
Interesting. All right. To the games that we have coming up this evening, I believe only 5 on the card. Some good teams being played, or some good games being played here. But one game that has your attention, Larry Henry Jr., for the people that'll be sitting back watching some hockey tonight.
Yeah, there's good games all around. Looking at it, I think you have the two on TNT tonight. Detroit at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's heavy favorites at home. Sidney Crosby's still playing like he's 21 years old. This guy's racking up points like nothing. I think the late game should be fun as well. At Los Angeles Kings, underdogs on the road at Colorado. But one game I will be watching for sure is Toronto Maple Leafs at the Washington Capitals, because the grade 8, Alex Ovechkin, still chasing history right now, trying to pass Wayne Gretzky on the all-time goal scoring mark. He's had a really good start to the season. Washington's 10-4. Ovechkin's got 5 goals in his last 5 games. Goaltending's been really good for Washington. Logan Thompson's undefeated at 7-0. So I like them to continue that at home tonight against a Maple Leafs team that's sitting 9-6-2, but maybe not where they want to be in the Eastern Conference with the likes of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, all the scoring that they have. And I think anytime you get Ovechkin on TV, it's definitely good entertainment. So I like the Capitals to continue that at home, and definitely rooting for Ovechkin to break that record, man. He's been a phenomenal player throughout his career. Probably never thought he'd be chasing Wayne Gretzky as close as he is, but and I think he's 40 years old now, still scoring at a rapid rate. So definitely cool. I got to break out the jersey, man. I still got it at home somewhere.
I love it. Love it. All right, Larry, we'll get you out of here on this one. Big one tomorrow night at Lincoln Financial Field. Been talking about it all week. Of course, short week for us here on The Gambler. Eagles and Commanders now up to 3.5-point favorites, 48.5. Winner of this is probably going to win the NFC East. I know we had a little bit of a fallout last year after I started counting the chickens before they hatched. But I feel pretty good, different about this team. Let's just say that much. However, tomorrow night's going to be a little bit more difficult than what people are in my opinion, are putting out there. But 3.5-point favorites, 48.5, should be a really good game between two division opponents that have been playing much better than the other two teams in the division. Where do you stand on this one, Larry?
It's going to be definitely, like you said, a division maker in terms of who wins that division. Two teams, Eagles right now flying high, 5 wins in a row. That big win in Dallas. Washington coming off that tough loss to a good Pittsburgh Steelers team. Zach Ertz a yard short on that 4th down. It's going to be really exciting. I like the under. I think it's going to be slow scoring for sure. Eagles defense are playing really well right now, which is definitely an improvement from the early couple games in the season when it sounded like everyone wanted Vic Fangio fired after 2 or 3 games. But overall, it's going to be exciting. I like the Eagles just in pretty much every category over Washington. Jaden Daniels has done a really exceptional job. I think he has to be in the mix for MVP. He's played really lights out, really calm, composed. This team's rallied around him. I think Austin Eckler signing with Washington has been a big time signing for them, and important veteran in the backfield. But the Eagles are just too good right now. Confidence is high. Saquon Barkley is tearing it up. Jalen Hurts is making good decisions with the football. 4 touchdowns against Dallas. I like the Eagles in this game, but like I said, I like it to be low scoring. I like the under, maybe 20, like a 21-6. I don't think Washington scores. Especially coming to Philly.
Interesting. All right. Great stuff, Larry Henry Jr. 48.5 is our total on that one. So under 48.5, and I don't think that's a bad play at all, since it is a short week and Thursday Night Football. Crazy stuff happens. Larry L. Henry 019 is where we can find you on socials. We'll check you out this weekend. And once again, congratulations on joining the team over at the Athletic. And hopefully I could spit it out of my mouth next week when I get you back on. But congratulations, and keep kicking butt and taking names, man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Appreciate it, buddy.
There he is, Larry Henry Jr. on the Gambler stream. Don't go anywhere. Daily ticket rolling on, and more Philadelphia Union talk with X's into you. Special guest Joe Tansey joining Sebastian to Adam Booth and Matty G. That's coming your way at 5 p.m. later today. More Daily Ticket back after this.